Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to CBO TV. I'm your host, Antonio Ponte. With me today is Jim Mann, head coach of the Dongwan Dragons in China, 12U, 15U, and 18U teams. Jim, thank you so much for joining us today. Would you like to say a couple words?
Hey, Antonio, it's always my pleasure to help the CBO. Always my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us today. So you've been to the tournament as an 18U team, and now you have 15 and 12U teams moving up the ranks that you hope to bring over to the United States soon. You want to tell us a little bit about both those teams?
Yeah, sure. We've like the States, like anywhere, it goes in cycles. A couple of years ago, we had some very good players, and we had a bunch of the Philippine national guys playing with us. The 18U team, we brought a team over there. Mario's tournaments is still the best tournament I've ever been to in the whole world. I mean, you get to go to Florida in October. You get to play at the spring training fields. You get 28 countries. It's phenomenal. And the kids I brought the first 2 years was the second annual and the third annual. They still talk about it. And they're in college right now, and they come back and tell my kids now, and these kids can't wait to get there. It's just such a hard process. We're post-COVID, Antonio, but it's still, the flights are longer. The war in Russia, you can't go up that direction. We have long flights, a lot of layovers, and visa issues. So next year we'll be there.
So tell me a little bit about back at home, what baseball is like. I know you guys have a turf field. Want to tell me a little bit about that and where you guys practice?
Well, home to me is the States. I'm an expat over here, and in 2016 we built a small stadium here, turf field, and it can handle 8U, 10U, 12U, 15U, 18U, and a regular field. And it is the only baseball field in Dongwan. So the Dragons was started in 2011 as a free baseball program to Chinese kids. And now it's grown to the free baseball program plus the Dragons Academy, that are the kids that must try out, get asked for and try out and then play. And those kids travel everywhere. The States is one thing. It's easier. We just came back from Indonesia. We won the GBK tournament in Indo. In the past, we've gone to Singapore, Thailand, obviously Hong Kong, which is very close. And this year we got an influx of a lot of good ball players, a lot of good, 11-year-old, 10-year-olds. And some of my 12-year-olds graduated. So now our 15U team is also very strong. And it's we have a couple of mixed kids, a couple Taiwan Chinese, but most of them are mainlanders. The sport's growing here.
Now, how has the sports grown since China made the World Baseball Classic? Have you seen growth in youth numbers?
Well, yes. Now, this past WBC was not the first time China was in it. They were in it 4 WBCs ago. In the beginning, there was no growth there. But the previous WBC, we saw a lot of growth. And, Shenzhen, which is 45 minutes from us, they used to have 4 club teams. They now have 24 club teams. More kids are trying out and trying to play baseball. China is a basketball crazy country.
Yeah.
Yao Ming and Yi and everything else. It's crazy. But they're starting to also realize that most Chinese are not tall, but they are shorter and thicker. So more kids are realizing that they can go try other sports. And the president of China, right before COVID, said to focus on 5 sports, team sports. And surprisingly, baseball was one of them. So there's been a little bit of a push. Now, the WBC this past year, China had to qualify, and they did. They didn't really do that well, but it is getting better. The MLB has 2 development centers here. That's getting kids in the States playing in college. A couple of kids have been signed to minor league deals. So it is slowly growing, but it is growing at a much higher rate than other places.
Right. So going back to your team a little bit, I know you've got players going through the ranks. Any of them that you want to highlight? Any top players for you that have found success?
Yeah, well, we've sent 7 boys from Little Dongwan to play baseball in college in America,
Hmm.
and we've sent 2 boys to the MLB Development Center here in China. So the Dragons coaches are very proud of that. We have JoJo Mann, who is at Lemoyne Owen College, is playing D2 in Memphis, and is one of the higher ones. We have a boy, Ty Higginbotham, who's Filipino American also, like JoJo, who's playing at Belmont Abbey D2, catcher, switch hitting catcher. And we've got one boy at Haverford. We've got one boy at Tufts. We've got one boy at UCal San Diego. So we're very proud of being able to get some kids to get to the next level, especially from a little town like Dongwan.
Yeah. Now, a couple of those guys you said played on the Philippine national team. You want to
Yes, we have.
tell me a little
Yep.
bit about that? How that was must have been quite the experience to see some of your guys play for that team. What was it like for
Yeah.
them?
Oh, it was exciting. The first one, was JoJo, and he was playing for a Hong Kong team in 2015, 2016, and the Hong Kong team he pitched for and beat the Philippine national team.
Okay.
So coach came over and said, "Why is he Filipino? Because he's half and half." I said, "Yeah." "Well, why is he not playing for us?" I said, "Well, you haven't asked." And since that day, he played 12U, et cetera, and now he's been playing for the men's national team for a couple of years now.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to do now when you're in the States playing NCAA, but last summer he was able to get in one tournament out in California with them, and we're all proud here. If anybody can go to play in college, doesn't matter what level, 1, 2, 3, JUCO, NAIA, you get to be that 7% that get to go to the next level. And we're very proud of our guys, and we're very happy when they come back and visit.
Absolutely. So we talked about the Philippines and China and, some of the sports in Asia. Tell me what it's like to play baseball in Asia compared to the United States.
Well, for me, to coach, it's a little harder because everything has to be done in 2 languages. I can't speak Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
But Asian baseball, China baseball is very Japanese oriented. So they are used to fundamentals. If you're not fielding the ball right, just hit 200 balls at you and you'll figure it out. Where, American baseball, they just teach you how to do it right, and then they hit 50 at you. So the Dragons is an American-based program. So it has been a little bit different compared to some of the other the teams that we play, because they're still more Asian focused, Asian centric, the teaching. A lot of bunting, a lot of hitting and running, very small ball, American style. Whereas the Western is more like, let's get 2 hits and somebody hits a bomb.
Right. Right.
Yeah. They do respect the game immensely over here. And that's one thing that I do like. Parents don't yell and scream and do stupid things like the States. They are quiet, they cheer, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Players, ton of respect to the other team, to the managers, to the coaches, and to each other. But it's growing. One of the biggest problems in China right now, Antonio, is the umpiring is absolutely terrible, because that's even farther behind than the youth programs in general. So it's growing, but it has to learn more. And, bringing kids over to Florida to play in the CBO tournament, Palm Beach tournament, that's where they get to experience the baseball that the Dragons is learning here. But then they see the difference of what the difference compared to the other programs here in China.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a faster game in America. Their kids are bigger in America. You have to know what you're going to do at all times.
Yeah.
And that's still not part of their culture yet.
I understand. So one last question for you. I want to end off with this one. Give me your favorite memory from coming over to the tournament.
Okay.
PG,
we got there a couple. Sorry.
PG rated favorite memory.
Okay. No problem. There's 2. I got to give you 2.
Go ahead.
So we got there the first day, and we were a couple days early because of the jet lag and everything else. And we walked into the stadium through the right field fence.
Okay.
And one of my players, he's playing at UCal San Diego now. He said, "Coach, oh my God, that turf is gorgeous." And I said, "Andre, that's not turf. That's real grass. They're in a pro stadium now." And he went over and he had to kneel down and touch it. True story. He was like, "Oh my God, it is real grass." And then it was fun. I've been over here since 2010 this time, but I was the head of baseball in Jersey and numerous other things. And I was standing watching batting practice between a couple of teams practicing before the tournament. This is the second one. And this young man came up to me and he said, "You're the coach in China." I said, "Yes. Can I help you?" And he goes, "You know my dad really well." And I said, "Okay, I'm sorry, but I don't know who you are." He goes, "Well, you met me once, but I was little. It was Roberto Clemente III."
Wow.
And I was like,
Pretty cool.
"Oh, gosh, yes, I know your dad very well." And I hadn't seen him since he was like 5 or 6 years old. And now he's 22 playing on the Puerto Rican team in your tournament. And it was special. And we called his dad and got to talk and everything else. And, that tournament is so much fun because you have players from everywhere. It really shows that baseball is an international sport.
Right. Absolutely. Well, Jim, this has been awesome.
Yep.
Thank you so much. I'm
My
happy
pleasure.
to come on here and see you again. I mean, Jim and I, for the viewers at home, Jim and I are actually personal friends. I managed JoJo over the summer twice now, as his pitching coach. So this was a great personal experience. It's fun to just get on and chat. To the viewers at home, I hope you guys, most importantly, learned something and took something from this to hear a different perspective from a different side of the world in terms of baseball. So thank you so much for hopping on. I know it's late over there.
No,
we're different, so I'm going to let you get some rest. And
thank you.
It was good seeing you over the summer, and hopefully we get to see you soon back at the tournament next year.
You got it.
Once again, thank you, Jim. Thank you to the viewers for coming on today and watching this World Comes to Palm Beaches interview series. Games start this week. We will be broadcasting live on our CBO TV live stream on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Antonio Ponte, going to sign off. Have a good one.